Good morning. This is Crystal Woods with Seasons in the Vine, and it's Fresh Friday. And today we're going to be in Luke 6. So if you want to hop on over there, you can. If not, you can read along with me. Let's see. What version am I in today? I am in the NRSV, New Revised Standard Version. New Revised Standard Version. A little different than I have typically read on a Fresh Friday, but this is the Bible I'm reading this year. Every year I read the Bible in a different translation. I know. It's fun to get acquainted with other ways that the original languages are translated. And maybe one day I'll do a Fresh Friday on why there are different translations, the benefits of different translations, why sometimes certain passages are taken out in some and not in others, but that's not for today. Today, we're going to be talking about the two foundations and which foundation are you on? Now, the reason I'm in this Bible is not only is because this is what hit me earlier this week, but there's a commentary that runs in this Bible because it's a study Bible, and their words as that they broke down for where we're going to be looking today really stood out to me, and I thought, this is pretty valuable. We should make sure that we talk about this. So Luke 6, we're going to be in 46. We're going to start there. And it says, "Why do you call me Lord, Lord, and do not do what I tell you? I will show you what someone is like who comes to me, hears my word, and acts on them. That one is like a man building a house." And you notice I'm going very slow. When you build a house, the slower it's built, most likely, the better it's built. We all know new construction these days can sometimes go together so quickly. Corners are cut. Things might not be as well done sometimes as they would be if we were at a slower pace. But the world is run by money, so things are a little bit different now. However, when you are talking about your faith, a quick to root, sprout, and bloom often doesn't hold because it needs a good root system. And so when you're building a house, that foundation and how you build on it, it's a slower process. And what we see typically is that those who really are committed to the Lord have chosen for long periods of time to obey, to follow him, to pick up their cross, to seek his face. And it's not quick, but it's a consistent, long obedience in the same direction, as Eugene Peterson would say. So with that said, let's look at 47 again. I will show you what someone is like who comes to me, hears my words, this is Jesus talking, and acts on them. So it's hearing the word, and then to prove that you've heard the word, there's an action. That one is like a man building a house who dug deeply and laid the foundation on the rock. How long does it take to dig deeply? It takes some time. How long does it take to really lay a foundation on a rock bed? It takes some time. When a flood arose and the river burst against that house, but could not shake it because it had been well built. So when a flood arose, the river would burst against that house, but could not shake it because it had been well built. Verse 49. But one who hears the words of Jesus, what he is saying to do, and does not act is like a man. So you've heard, but you've not obeyed, is like a man who built a house on the ground without a foundation. When the river burst out against it, immediately it fell, and great was the ruin of that house. Okay, so there's a couple points here. This is what my commentary was saying. The true mark of discipleship, and if you didn't know this about me yet, I am all about discipleship. I am about us making people into people who will follow Jesus to the end through persecution, through the end times, whatever that would look like. And for us to be people of that substance first so that we can make people of that substance. So it starts with us and goes out. I'm all about discipleship. The true mark of discipleship is a life that reflects the lordship of Christ, not the life that reflects signs and wonders and miracles. Those are all great and good, but the life that reflects a true disciple is one that reflects lordship of Christ, which is the obedience factor. And if you really look into the scriptures, you'll see things like when people say, Lord, Lord, didn't we do all of these signs and wonders, cast out demons, heal the sick, prophesy in your name? Didn't we do all this? And Jesus is like, I never knew you. So it's signs and wonders are great, but it's not about the signs and wonders. It's about being a real obedient follower of Jesus. If you follow somebody, that means you're actually obeying. You're walking in their steps. You're actually staying in line with them. So it says, the true mark of discipleship is a life that reflects the lordship of Christ. Words, even true and good words, are insufficient in themselves. Words without deeds are an inadequate foundation. Words without deeds are an inadequate foundation. It reminds me of what we learn in James, that faith without works is dead. If it's really faith, if it's a real saving faith, if it's truly salvation, it will have works. It will have acts that come out of it, that come out from it, that come after it. And so what can we learn here? We can learn here there are two types of houses that we can have. We can have the house that's built on the rock bed, that took some time, that was deep down. Foundation was dug. And how is that foundation dug? It's dug by listening and obeying Jesus. Those who have heard the words and act on them. That means when he tells you to do something, you do it. If you still haven't done the last thing he's told you to do, you are like the person who built their house on the ground or on the sand. And as soon as that water comes up, and believe me, my friends, it's going to come up. We're going to have storms. We're going to have trials. We're going to have things that come up against that foundation. As soon as that happened, because we did not act and we have not obeyed and we have not really made Jesus Lord, which means he's the boss, then that house is on the ground without a foundation at all. And when the river bursts against it, it immediately falls, gone. And great was the ruin of that house. And so this is pretty important. It stood out to me, and we know this scripture. The wind and the waves are going to come. The storm's going to come. The river's going to rise up. But what you are built on is imperative. But how do you build? That's what I wanted to really bring into focus today. How do you build? Because according to the scriptures, you build through obedience to what Jesus has said. That is the way you build a house. So if you're not a very obedient follower of Jesus, you do not have a house on a solid foundation. It's just true. If you lack in obedience, your foundation is not there and your house is on the ground. You must walk in obedience. And when you do, you are going to be building that house deeply dug down onto the rock bed, putting that foundation there. I will show you what someone is like who comes to me, hears my words, and acts on them. That one is like a man building a house who dug deeply, took time, did what they were supposed to do, and laid the foundation on a rock. So when you have a lot of obedience in your history with the Lord, and you have trusted him and obeyed him and done what you need to do, when the floods of life rise against you and the river and the water just rushing through is bursting against you, you will not be shaken because of your legacy of obedience to the Lord. Because you trusted the Lord yesterday and the day before, You can trust him today when the river waters come up. And I say this often, you have to start trusting the Lord at some point. So let today be the day you trust and obey him, so that tomorrow it's a little bit easier to trust and obey him. And 2 weeks from now, it's even easier to trust and obey, because you're building up all of this legacy of he was faithful then. I obeyed. He came through. He was faithful. I heard him. I did what he said. That is how you build a house on the rock of Jesus Christ. It is through obedience. It is because of his lordship. And that, my friends, is what a real disciple is. So what foundation are you built on? And what is your track record when it comes to obedience? See you next week.